Hi everyone. Today I'm going to work on my Morsel Mash-up challenge number 2. Excuse me. But before I get started on that, I wanted to show you this little journal that I'm working in. I mentioned last month when I did this page that I would be showing this journal pretty soon, and it's not really a journal yet. It's just a signature, really. And I'll probably be making several of these signatures and putting them in a book at some point. But as you saw, this was craft paper. And this is just that shipping paper that, you receive in, a lot of times when you get packages sent to your house and all your stuff is packed up in brown paper stuffed all around it. Well, that's what I did. I just took this paper and I tore it apart at the perforated lines, and I just loosely sewed, and I don't mean loosely, although this one is kind of loose. I just sewed it together with a temporary thread, really small sewing thread, just until I'm ready to stitch it into a book, and then I'll use a more heavy-duty thread. So I did work on a couple of pages in here. This is the first one that I did, and it's just a mishmash. It was really fun. I'm not really thinking and planning out these pages. These are just kind of play pages. So I may end up calling this a playbook, but it's just playing, throwing stencils down, throwing some paint on, and stamping, and on this one I had a little washi tape, and then I just cut some flower shapes from some painted papers, and then I did some of the little ransom note lettering to put the words on the page. So it was a lot of fun. I love all the color and the whimsy of it because that's just the style that I really enjoy. So I did that one, and then I did another layout, which was this one, where I had done the same thing. I just, was throwing some paint on the page. I actually did a little collage in the background of this one. I see some music notes here. That was part of a tissue paper I added, and there's some other painted magazine pages I can see through here. So I did do some collage in the background here, and then I threw on some paint. And I had these sweet little die cut birds and butterfly that were given to me by a friend, and I really wanted to use them. I love the look of the dictionary paper on top of all that color and all. So I really enjoyed making this one. It was a lot of fun. And then the next one that I did was this one. Okay, and this one is a crazy wild mess right now. This is actually, the first thing that I put down was a little bit of stenciling, which was paint left over from when I was making that little gratitude journal. And and then next I put the leftover pieces, all of these lined pieces that you see in here is leftover book text from when I was cutting some green strips to make the Christmas cards that I made. And so I just took all the scraps and I just glued them down because they were laying here on my table. So then I came back later and I threw some paint on, and I literally just scraped some paints and all on, and then I came back another time with leftover paint and did some circles and some dots, and then did some scribbling and stuff. So this one is not really finished yet, but I've got a really good background started, and I've just really been enjoying this book, and I believe that's all I've done so far up until the time when I did the first mashup challenge, Morsel Mash-up challenge. So that was the last time. So this time I'm going to use the other single page, which is on the back of this signature. And I've already attached the background of the page, and that is going to be, that is obviously my alcohol technique that I used on here. I used a light shade of blue, on my page. Actually, it's a piece of cardstock, and I just glued it down to the packing paper. But I used a light color blue, kind of like a very light teal. And then I dripped some alcohol on that and dried it. And then I came back over top with the darker blue color that you see here, and did a real good wash over that, nice and wet, and then did the alcohol drips again. And so now the lighter blue is showing through. So that's what I'm using as my background. And I've been working for the last couple of days. When I had a moment to do it, I've been working on some of the elements that I'm going to put on my page for the other two techniques that are in this challenge. But before I show you the other elements or attach those to the page, I'm going to take a white Posca pen and add some lines in this background. This blue is going to represent water, and specifically pool water. So I'm going to take the white Posca pen and I'm going to draw just some little lined shapes in the water to represent the reflection of the movement of the water. And the lines combined with all of the different shading and stuff in that turns out in the alcohol technique, I'm thinking is going to look really cool and more like the water reflections that you would see in a swimming pool. So like I said, I'm just doing random little loose shapes, nothing that really means anything, because you know, when you see reflections in the water and there's a lot of movement, there is no particular shape there, you're just seeing a lot of that. And I'm just kind of tapping it off a little bit, so they're not real. Some of them will be brighter and sharper than other ones, and some of them will just be a little bit more muted. Okay, so you guys can see what I mean, how this kind of gives you the idea of the pool reflections when the water's moving in a pool. The first element I'm going to add is a circle, and I'm going to put it in the water. And on top of the circle is going to go my little whimsical bird. He's just going to be chilling, sitting in a tube, a floaty tube. All right. And he's going to be, or I should say she, because she's got the cute little eyes. See her cute little eyes. And I've got a little pair of glasses that I made, little sunglasses, and she's going to have those up on her forehead here, kind of resting up top. And so I'm going to need to attach these before I attach her to the tube. So it's going to look like this. All right. She's going to have those on her head. And I think I'll go ahead and attach that first. I've got a couple of pieces of just the foam adhesive. I cut into tiny little squares there just so that they're a little bit raised off of her head, kind of like they would be in real life. And then I'm going to put a tiny bit of glue. So let's see here. This is going to go behind. This is going to go behind. Go. All right. And glue on the sides and the foam in the center there, just to kind of keep them raised up a little bit. All right. Love it. Okay. All right, so there she is. She's got her glasses on, sitting on her head. And I've got to do some shading and stuff to give her a little bit more realistic look. Not that she really looks realistic, but just to shade her so she won't look so flat. I want to give her a little bit more dimension. All right, this is just a piece of cardstock that I scraped some paint onto. And I'm going to just glue it down, and then I'll position her in the middle of that. Okay, you know I've got the little stripy legs, right? Okay. Got some little feather areas here at the top of her legs. Let's see if I can get these to not curl so much. There we go. Okay. So she's just hanging out at the pool. I love it. Let that dry a little bit. While that's drying, I've got a couple of little balls to have floating in the water, and these are just punched from not the orange one. These four. Whoops, where are you? There we go. These four are just punched from some glossy labels that I had used some alcohol ink on. And so I just punched some circles out, and so they're stickers since they were labels. They're like half sheet labels. And this one was just punched from a piece of a jelly print, and I added a little bit of the glossy Mod Podge on top just so that the gloss surface would be similar. So these are some additional circles. Now let's see, I think I'm going to have one up here, a bigger one up here, and a bigger one down here, and then maybe red one down here. Whoopsie. Kind of just lay them out so they look kind of cute. They're just floating in the water. All right, so I'm gonna see if I can get these peeled. This might be challenging, but we'll see. Give my little birdie some feet. I don't think she quite reaches the water floating in her little float, so I'm gonna just give her some little whimsical toes. Have one going out in the back too. I'm just using a Posca paint pen for this. Okay. There we go. So everything is glued down now, and I'm going to just start doing some shading to make everything kind of pop and become a little bit more dimensional, because right now everything except the glasses looks a little bit flat on the page, because it is. And it's still going to be flat on the page, but it's going to look more dimensional as I add some shading and some highlighting. I'm going to use the Posca pen for a white Posca pen for the highlighting, and then I'll be using these Faber-Castell Pitt pens for the shading. Okay. All right. So I'm going to start with the little tube here, and I'm just going to put a little bit of this around the edges, around the outside first. And this is going to add a little shadow, basically. Around the edges, so that this tube will start to look a little bit more round, I hope. I'm hoping so. Okay, so it's already looking a little bit better. I'm going to also put a little of the same color shading underneath or around the bird, where there's, you know, going to be little shadows. Okay. Go up here to the top and put some around here. Okay. There we go. A little bit under here. Make it a little bit darker in some places. One more layer, I think, will make it just about right. There we go. That's looking pretty good. Okay, now I'll just take the white pen and just add a few little glints of where the sun may be catching on the tube to make it appear a little more round. Alright, so you can see I just made the little marks, but it does give it the impression of sun kind of glinting off of it. Okay, now we'll do a little bit of shading on the bird. And just kind of go around these little feathered areas here, make some little shaded areas. Okay, so I'm back. This is the next day. Yesterday I added just a little bit more shading, added a little bit of gray to the orange where the shading is here, it wasn't quite shadowy enough for me, so I added a little gray to the orange and also around the little bird. And then this morning, just a few minutes ago, I coated the water area and the floaty that he's sitting in, or she's sitting in, with some of this decoupage sealer from Americana. I just wanted the float and the water to have a shiny effect, so when the light hits it, you can see it's a little bit shinier. And then just now, I used some glossy accents on her glasses, on the lenses. So you can see now there's more, there's more glare. It's still a little cloudy because I just did it, so it's not dry yet. But I thought that was a fun little effect on her glasses. And so while I have it out, I actually want to put a few little water droplets using the glossy accents. And, you know, just have a few here and there, like, you know, the water has splashed up. So the words are going to say, note to self. And the note to self is relax. So I think that's really fun, and you know, as you know, she's chillaxing in the water there. But just in general, reminding yourself to relax is a good thing. And so let me go ahead and add the words, and then I will go back and do the water droplets with the glossy accents. I think I'm going to put a little bit of a red line on the inside of each of these white blocks, just to add a little bit more color, since there's a lot of white space around these words. This is just a gel pen. There we go. I like that. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and put on the glossy accent droplets. And also, I'm going to take some archival ink in a cobalt blue color and go around the edge of the page. There we go, I like that. Cool. Really like how that frames the page. Looks great. Okay. Now we can put on some of those glossy accents, and when it gets all nice and dry, I'll take a picture and put it at the end of the video. That's going to look so cute. I know it's hard to see them, but let's see if I can get the light to hit them just right. I know it's hard to see right now, but maybe, there we go. You can get a little bit of a hint of them sitting there. So they'll be nice and clear and reflective like little droplets. That is going to be just so fun. I love it. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this. I had a whole lot of fun putting it together. I'm really enjoying the challenges, and I hope you guys are too. And I'm enjoying seeing what everybody's creating in the Facebook group. So be sure and post your challenges over there so that I and everyone else can see them. And if you're not a member of the group, just go on over. I'll have a link in the description of this video, and you can go there and click to join, and we'll get you in as soon as possible. All right, thanks everybody. I hope you're having a great day. We'll talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.